power to the people, love of the people, and peace to and from the people, for the people. On the second day, this is Humam Abdulmalik, the Mr. Griot. I'll give myself that title. On this second day of Ngozo Saba, Kwanzaa, Habarigani. First day was Umoja, unity. Today, the second day of Kwanzaa, is koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, self-determination. It is to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Therefore, we can't let anybody validate us on any level. We must speak for ourselves in the sense that our story should be told every day of Black history. Every day of Black history. Because every day is Black history. Because either whatever we have created or whatever information that's related to us, we must explain it ourselves. Whatever we're creating, it must be talked about. The things that we create today for tomorrow need to be talked about, because our story is a very pertinent story of this global entity, of this world. For without us, not only like in America, and the foundation of America was built upon our backs, the foundation of the whole planet was not built upon our back, but molded and shaped by our intelligence in the ancient times. So the people that came in control, this patriotic society that came in control, they didn't have that ability. So they used us forcibly in captivity here in these lands. But that's another story subject. And I just wanted to say, Habarigani, peace and power and love. The second day of Kwanzaa, koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, collective work and responsibility. That means we come together collectively with one purpose, one aim. The unification, organization, and development of an infrastructure holistically, spiritually, economically, educationally, to get those Wall Streets back, the development of our own system within this system. Because this system getting ready to fall, change, or something. We just still gotta just be observers right now and see what's going to happen in this political climate. So with that, as always, I want to share my inner thoughts on different subject matters. We've been through a lot of things and subject matters since I started this program, this show, Poetry Avenue, offshoot from WPFW and Marcelo Tolliver, my big baby brother. And those that practice Christ Mass, I say, peace, peace. Those who practice Christmas, I say, don't get so caught up that you got to pay all them bills coming up. And don't, the intoxication of your body, of your temple, with the drinking and funning and stuff like that, don't overdo it. Or we should purify ourselves, more so to intoxify ourselves. Natural high is better than anything. This morning, I think I was trying to do some things for, it will be a few things, not to tell, I wanted to go somewhere with the sisters, but it's going to be a mixture of different topics or subject matters that my words will paint upon the canvas of your mind, so that you can see my words clearly as this picture is developed in your mind. I don't know if this is going to be a repeat, but no, it's not. I will do this. Self-determination is the word of today, the second day of Kwanzaa. That concept, pull it into your mind, put it into the computer of your brain, and let that data become repetitious, like this generational alien culture. Somewhat, we got to develop our own culture. This is part of the Kwanzaa thought, so we can come into our own, so we can heal, develop, and establish here for us, not being racist, just being race people, so we can uplift ourselves. This is called Katrina. Katrina, I understand there's nothing worse than a woman scorned, especially after her man has wronged her. But why was that burst of air so strong? You know, you affected everybody along the Ninth Ward. And before your anger escalated, they say it was all done by natural causes. Even before you abated, the story changed again. You see, Katrina, I know you didn't need any help. But as the people slept, the water crept throughout the ward, up to the rooftop, like it would never stop. Nor did the helicopters to rescue those who lay flop on the rooftop. And why did really Angeles become a bunch of cops with shotguns and rifles who dared anyone to cross the bridge just to be safe? No, they shouted, you must go back because you will be out of place. And here's the worst disgrace that was placed upon the citizens of the Ninth Ward. Now, listen, here's the worst disgrace that was placed upon the citizens of the Ninth Ward. Katrina, even you wouldn't believe the people became refuge. How can a citizen be a refuge in his own country, in their own country? Yeah, that's right. Those torn away from the African shores who love and adore the American soil are now displaced, faced with a mass home in the Superdome. Katrina, I ask you, how can they save faith? Constitutionally, they don't have a case, and it gets worse still. As the water backed up, Blackwater armed up to keep the people shut up and boxed in unhealthy conditions. Where was FEMA? Katrina, believe me, I know your act was natural, and you didn't need any help in displaying your anger. Levees exploding? Maybe the Homeland Security is doing some encoding or decoding as this nation continues to be eroding into separate and unequal. Katrina, I still love you because you was God sent to reveal the social ills that none of their bills will get passed. We remember that time in New Orleans. The people was called refugees, man. Can you believe that? The citizens of these United Snakes of Hypocrisy, excuse my language, I mean this Federation, United Federation or United States of America, or is it a corporation of England? Sometimes I'd be dumbfounded because this fraudulent laws in this quagmire, deceptive maze that we find ourselves in just amazes me. But it's all right. It's all right. And this might be a repeat, but I think it falls in line. Don't forget today's word of the day, self-determination. Let us be self-determined and apply that with unity and put it all together and mold and shape that that Heru, that Asa, that Aset. People are upset to go black, to get what was taken from you, taken from us, our story. And we got to overcome his lies of his story, because it's a distortion of our story. So I'm going to this next one, because I got to move kind of fast, because I got to go on the plantation today. It's called The Beast. The beast be rising from the sea. Can't you see? I said the beast be rising from the sea. Can't you see? It's the beginning of the prophecy. And the divine don't be lying. It's the Zionists and the capitalists that are blind to the fabrication that they design. They got the world in a perilous decline. All signs of the changing times. As the women be acting like men and the men be acting like women, but everybody is not caught up in the habitual sinning, because it's like time has stopped and Pandora's box, like the Matrix, has opened, and the first of the 7 seals are being revealed. As the righteous kneel in humble submission, and the mentally free are given the key to listen to the truth that abounds all around with sounds of deciphering the truth that is strangely mixed with falsehood. Created by conditions set in motion by multi-corporations and politicians who sold their soul. So they continue to control men and steal his health and lend you wealth until there's nothing else left but the devil's plan to unfold. But what they don't know or understand is that man plans and God plans. So where do you stand as the beast be rising and they still be giving false advertisement? As the new world order be unfolding around the globe, by the token of time, surely man is at loss, except those who practice truth, patience, and constancy. Amen. And that's the reality, man. That is the reality, not man. Sisters in general, family, melanated, carbonated, African family, African American family, American African, descendant of slaves here in America, descendants of people that have been captured in captivity, like indoctrinated, so-called educated, alienated from our culture, alienated from who we are, going against our own nature, emulating those who rose to power over our free labor. And they'll say, don't play the race card. We ain't playing no game. It ain't no game. Y'all the one. This system is the one that's playing poker, political poker with our lives. Not only our lives per se, but all people lives. Every nationality, every ethnic group here in this country, upon the planet Earth. The whole globe is at stake, because everybody's fate is interconnected. From the 3 Cabo states, DC, the militaristic, London, the financial, and Rome, the religious. And don't forget though that 13 families, which one of them got so rich that, man, that they can give 2 or 3 generations of people money and still have money. But they don't want to do that. Why? Because they got a God complex. Okay, here go another poem. It is called Nomadic Maiden. Nomadic maiden whose caravan of thought is made from mysticism in a mystic haven. It's your love I be craving to be with you forever in my eternal thought, as I sought out you long ago, as our soul crossed paths. But first we had to take divine bath in the water from the Zamzam well in order to become pure. But I still wasn't sure, as your soul soared another light year away from mine and was 1,000 miles behind you. But that wasn't the reason I couldn't find you. The time for our journey had not yet come into being. and I had to be prepared in order for our being to be shared. As the struggle with myself began, in order for me to understand, I had to journey to the city of sacred knowledge. So I began my quest through the pyramid of my mind, crossing divine time through the mist of clarity, and before I could open the door of sacred knowledge, the scent of your being that I adore so much touched my heart. I started to depart from my quest of life, to find you, my mystical art. But then I understood that you've been here, my nomadic maiden, and left this trail in order for me not to fail in finding the sacred knowledge of arcane love, a mystery revealed only to those who have overcome carnal love and attained the gem of secrets manifested in the temple of hearts. It was so simple to find your trail again, moving so slow at a snail's pace, to cover a distance of 1,000 miles. Allow you to find that loving smile that can be heard in silence of joy that Sufi love brings. Nomadic maiden, let's arrange the next journey hand in hand. Across the sands of time through the ecstasy of our one mind, as I stand at the entrance of your temples of life's beginning, performing libations at your receptacle of pleasure, watching the still waters burst forth from the transformation of the nomadic maiden upon the wings of love as I hold on in this journey of flight into mystical light of nocturnal delight. Understanding now the essence of the path of the nomadic mating is truth paid by the way of love found in us at the gate of trust. Going back in time as one mind beginning where we started, a reflection of each other's soul as we both unfold in the journey of life in the reality of dreams untold. Nomadic maiden, please keep touching my soul with the nectar of wisdom from the rose of life. And this is a true story. Yes, it's a beautiful sister in my life. Man, very, very beautiful, spiritual. And we gotta hold our sisters, our matriarchy queens in high esteem and homage, and protect them in every way, emotionally, spiritually, sensually, every way. We gotta hold our sisters in high esteem because they're the mother of life. Without them, it would be no us. It would not be anything, because they brought us into this realm through the Creator's hand or mind or the natural process that happens. But through our sister, the female gender, everything started. We got to respect that. Excuse me one second. Ginger and honey crystal. That was what it was. Here's another one. It's called When You Leave Me Wanting Something So Deep and Wide. I can't hide my love for it. I can't even describe it, but I feel strong vibes from it. It enhances my feeling of being alive and taking everything that life has to offer in stride. This harmony and peace that I seek to maintain and gain permanency in my life avoids me. Because when you leave me wanting. Wanting what I can't have or what you won't let me have. Or is there for me just to grab and control like it does not have a soul? I really don't know. All I know is that really has a hold on me. And it won't let me free from this strong desire, something that burns my soul like I'm on fire. Because when you leave me wanting something so surreal that I can only feel the potency of it when I'm near you. Because then I feel like a seer, like being here and there. But I swear I can feel you everywhere I turn, because I yearn to learn the essence of that thing that brings esoteric understanding, overstanding from me, and knowing that you hold the key that unlocks the mysteries that plagues me. Because when you leave me, You leave me wanting something that I can't grasp, because it's not physical, but mystical, not mental, but essential to me wanting it. When you leave me wanting something that I can't have or hold, because it's of the spirit and soul, an axiom that only God unfolds. I never knew being around you would give me this clue that it's you and I that I seek, the oneness of the universe, which we can never have but share. That's the glare in our eyes blinding us to want instead of need. The need to know that God has planted the seed of harmony and peace between us. Love can only be sought and not ascertained. What remains between us is to know when you leave me wanting what I need written in the divine creed, universal love. That's part of your being. That's what I be seeing. That was another situation in my life, true story. Man, but life is an open door to possibilities. Our life is a pathway that has been paved by our ancestors to a divine being, to a divine reality. Once we open up to who we are in our DNA, with understanding of the universe, to have an effect upon the universe as melanated people from the interior of Akabu land, Nubian and Kemetic clan, from the Pygmies to the Zulu, and everything we do of done upon this planet, we need to understand and give our youth the recognition and the light of that so-called mystery, because our story has been hidden and flagranized and stolen and taken, and somebody else claiming the benefits for it. But we, in this day and time, 2016, in this political climate, we have to apply those principles of the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. First day, Umoja, unity. Today, koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, self-determination. We got to do it. We got to come together as a people. Marina Karinga established these principles in 1966. And here it is. This is 2016. What is that? That's almost 30 years, 40 years? No, about, let me see, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's 40 years. 40 years. And not only that, we've been in this paradigm in this country, being the most prolific people here, because everything, this foundation of this country, is from our ability, our know-how. We went through the servitude aspect of it, but we was the only people that knew how to till the land and do things of that nature. As the so-called Indians, when the Pilgrims first came over here and tricked us with that Thanksgiving stuff, after we showed them how to survive through the winter and all that, they gave us thanks, a giving of death. So, and then they use it or have it as a holiday, a national holiday. The murder of a people that helped them, but we practice it every day. And just overlook the story or his lies, because his lies tells us another picture of everything during this period of time. How many of us boycotted during this period, from Thanksgiving, Black Friday to yesterday? How many of us? How many of us are still caught up in the generational brainwashing or the generational decrepit, practicing something outside of our culture? How many of us? How many of us can unify on the principle of Umoja? How many of us can unify on the principle of koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, self-determination? We got to get it together. A change has got to come back. I know that's a repeat, so I ain't going to read that. I know this is a repeat. I'm going to read it anyway. No, I ain't going to do that. Or should I? Yeah, I am. Because we're talking about change. We are talking about change. Why don't you think about change? Isn't it about time to stop playing games? There's nobody else to blame. Nobody else to blame. So take control of your soul and be the captain of your soul. And don't slip into the traps that they set for you. And you don't have a clue that it all started from school, indoctrination through their education. Treating you like you were an educated fool, saying you've always been under their rule, a slave from your birth to the grave. So that's why you have to behave the way you do. But it's time now that you grow into that giant that you've always been without the sin. Before you came in contact with them, or those affected by the Nephilim, or you don't know him, it's because they changed his name in the Bible, Genesis 6:4 and Numbers 13:33. So how can you reach spiritual understanding, or overstanding when they be demanding you walk through life with your eyes wide shut and your mind closed to what you're supposed to know and accept as the truth? As one wise sage said, in order to turn the page in life and make a change, you have to look at the man in the mirror, the man or the woman in the mirror, the man and the woman in the mirror. But as I looked into the mirror, I saw no reflection. I said, how can this be? As I shook in fear, but everything then became clear. I heard an inner voice within me, and nobody else heard it but me. And it said, you have reached a degree and level where you are mentally free and not affected by the devil. Because I was the only one there listening, it became clear that I was on a humble mission to help change the condition of those who was not listening to the inner voice within themselves. But I wasn't in despair because I knew they didn't care by the examples they made clear. As the inner voice continued, I confirmed the change I made within. Then I realized as I approached the altar of my ancestors, I gave libations out of respect and honor for them in my reflection of change from my beginning to my end. As it was then, it shall be now. The paths I follow without sin, but with genuine, humble submission to help guide and protect the elders and the youth. So be it. Amen. Ashe. My change. My change is no different from our change, because we must make a change. The change is for our survival, for our future, the next generation of leaders. So let me move on. This is called Sacred Teardrop. Another true story in my path. Air of life. Sacred teardrop. Your sacred teardrop is not a wasted tear. Queen sister, cause I hold you so dear. You have always been my eternal love unconditionally since first eye contact. But out of respect for you, I could never proclaim that fact. Your beauty, intelligence, and grace along with your spirituality took me to another place. So now I hope you can see why your sacred teardrop was not a wasted teardrop. Queen sister, you were always held in high esteem by me, anywhere on the planet. I will be there for you to fulfill your every need in humble humility. That's because you are a Nubian African queen who deserves what you give to the world, and that's all that you have of yourself. Your sacred teardrop was not wasted because I seen it, the purity of it, the beauty and the strength of it. You see, I caught the moment of it forever imprinted upon my heart and mind. You being a strong Nubian woman I perceive you to be, sharing that moment with me with an intimate experience because of the purity of it. Your sacred teardrop was not wasted teardrop, because spiritually I caught it and encased it in a place, it backed it in the pool of purity that lies right within your heart. I don't know what kind of person can feel your vibe, can't feel your vibes and see your royal strides. And you can't hide love. Don't he know you are unique like a red black dove? The fool better get schooled. Your sacred teardrop was not a wasted teardrop. Understand and know that, and demand the respect that you are due. In your subtle ways, you make your demand if he wants to hold hands with a Nubian queen, with the essence of love beyond his dream. And if he doesn't know that, then let him make libation to our ancestors and answer his own questions of what it is to be part of the mystery we call love. The hurt and pain is not a stain upon you, my beautiful sister, but was ordained by the Creator so you could see things unfold now then later. Your sacred teardrop was not a wasted teardrop, because it came from your heart, which is pure like your love, which is sacred, that was sent from above. We again, as brothers, we must hold our sisters in high esteem. These matriarchy queens are the mothers of life, the first teachers to our children. We must, in order to bring the family ties back in order, they were taken out of order and put in a state of chaos by design, by our natural enemy who manipulates our mind through his indoctrinations and mass mind control, through television, through radio, through everything, to manipulate our soul, manipulate our mind, to take us away from the divine time that we're trying to establish. So I'll keep on going on this path. That was another true story. And everything I do is original, from my thoughts, my inner thoughts in the chamber of my mind. And like I said before, I try to paint on the canvas of your mind to see a picture that develops clearly. And I believe that's my creativity that the Creator has given me through my words being a mystic griot, which I proclaim. I think is ordained because, like I said, I was self-taught, but I got to keep going because I got to get ready to go on the plantation, sharecrop that clock. So I ordered to survive and sustain myself until I become an entrepreneur where I can deal with my own, sharecropping for me. But right now, I got to do it for somebody else. So I got to do that. This is called, and I hope that I don't be stepping over the bounds by sharing my poetry and the content of it. But I try to not to be vulgar or overstepping my bounds, speaking language. I like to speak language that can touch the heart and soul and be prolific in that. So I hope I don't, nobody misunderstand my words. Thou said that away. Esoteric love. You are the You are the gateway to life through the sacred path of harmony and peace. As I merge with you in oneness at the celestial spiritual meeting place of divine bliss, wherever you are, I will go soulfully, waiting to intertwine with your spirit. Understand me in the light of black Nubian Kemetic love, from above, below, inward, outward, and all between in celestial time, contained in universal mind. It is a reality that can become only if you allow me to embrace your soul spiritually. That's once, then you would know my love for you is an axiom. It would be I no longer, me no longer, but we in the essence of oneness, reflection of darkness in the light through melanin occurrences. That's my esoteric beauty in the arcane light of understanding, purity of love that shines forth from the essence of your being. And this is no dream. You're so strong. It's from the strength of a Nubian mind, a Kemetic warrior queen that's right on time to help heal her own kind and find the path to the divine. After taking a bath in milk and honey together as we stimulate the stem of your yoni with the tongue, and after you come back to reality, and I've tasted the sweet nectar of life that flows from your inner being. It truly is flowing, and you know this. I feel it inside you, soul, because I feel it inside my soul. As though I am touching yours and you feel. Apologize for that. That's the first time that ever happened. So I don't know why it happened, but it happened. And to me, everything happened by divine decree. Let me see here. And this is something that is almost like a collaboration, but it was a thought of someone else, I believe, that they write or I wrote. And it's like a true story again, or thoughts, say true thoughts. And I apologize for that little mishap that I don't know why it happened. It says that there was a weak connection, and that's the first time that ever happened on this station. What time is it? Okay, let me go here. It's called Sephra Breeze. A Sephra Breeze. Let me get some of this water because my... Ah, boy. From the coolness of a Sephra breeze, a rite of passage, and doing all we please, to the stench of being trapped, kidnapped, and demoralized, and knocked to our knees. Kings and queens forced to do unwanted things, even the spirit crying out, this is a shame. The way we had to work the fields of sugarcane, tobacco, and cotton. From the prophets, we didn't get a thing. After all the blood, tears, and sweat, they still show us nothing but neglect. They don't even want us to read, but only take care of their needs. Let me see here. Excuse me 1 second. No, that's not proper. So I'll still continue here. After all the blood, tears, and sweat, they still show us nothing but neglect. They didn't want us to read, but only take care of their needs, to believe that we were born to be slaves and only 3/5 of a human being. Was that the game they played along with changing our names into nigger, negro, and color folk? We even had to watch the way we spoke, or that would have gotten us choked, castrated, maybe even amputated. We couldn't even pray because we didn't know whether their God would listen to what we had to say, because our God wouldn't let anybody treat anybody that way. You see, I remember the coolness of the Sephra breeze, being shocked from the stench of dead bodies hanging in trees, and mankind doing whatever he pleases to man around the world as his patriotic flag unfurls. Every black boy and girl need to be taught that the way of the world and who they are, plus where they come from. This is a must in order for them to gain spiritual trust. And it's also the connection with our ancestors, who gives them the prescription of life, which is in their DNA. You have to listen to what they say. One, your body is a temple, so keep it purified and clean, because it holds the spiritual energy and the breath of God. That breath into you to bring you to life. Praise the Lord. To this is all you need to know in order for you to grow into a righteous, moral human being that is caught up in worldly things, so that you can stay sane and maintain God consciousness. As you go black to blackness, before time was recorded, when the Asar set and Heru gave you Ma'at, the balance, and Tawhidi, the scribe, wrote down information, so you would know who you are in the ancient future and who you were in the future past. So as you inhale divine knowledge and exhale celestial universal wisdom in the prism of life, never forget that stench to knock your ancestors to their knees and that strange fruit that hung from trees. But now you can stand where you please across the 7 seas. Are those trapped, kidnapped, and demoralized because you realize the God in you? That they have no clue who you are or how far you come, not to be dumbed down or part of the pipeline to prison, because you are more divine. You make more divine decisions. So can you feel it? The coolness of the Sephra breeze, like beneath the shade of coconut and palm trees. Stay self-motivated along with self-esteem and live your dreams manifested in reality. A reality that we're trying to create for our youth, the future generation of leaders in this domain, in the United Snakes of hypocrisy. We have to do this because it's our time. I mean, every year, like people saying, like every year people say a New Year resolution, but that's no more. It's about New Year's solutions. We're looking for solutions that plague us in this society. And we got to overcome plaguing ourselves. That's why we got to take on these principles. These principles of Nguba Saba, 7 principles of Kwanzaa. Umoja, koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, Kuumba, and Imani. We have to develop these principles based on culture identity, based on spiritual identity, and stop alienating ourselves from our culture, our spirit. Because when we emulate alien culture, it don't mix. Naturally, it don't mix. We will it'd be like a donkey and a horse, right? Something like that. It'd be like them tampering with nature and cloning and all that. It'd be like eugenics. They trying to establish a super race or whatever, but not naturally. See, we are naturally inclined to be a super race because of the things we done was super. We held the foundation, built the foundation of this nation upon our backs forcefully. But we built our own society, more pristine, more pure, more everything was much more magnificent, more gigantic. I can't describe the words. When we were in control matriarchally upon this earth, everything was in harmony and peace. Everything. It wasn't no murder, wasn't no dis-ease, wasn't none of that. Wasn't even no crime, man, until we came in contact with these people and they manipulated our mind and our thinking. It brought about all this insanity. And this poem, well, I guess I got time for 2 more. It's I seen a movie, and it was based on a situation that occurred that came out of Fort Detrick. And I ain't gonna go through the sounds, but I may. It's called Find the Blood. If you can recognize that sound, then maybe you will say the evidence is well found, but it's bound by a cloud of mistruth. Okay, here are the proof. One green monkey, like a junkie, using needles, syringes to get high. Contaminated needles was the first lie, but they had to take you on a deeper ride down the rabbit hole. Like deep down the middle of the jungle, where the green monkey survived the fire in the blood that caused pandemic that is now worldwide. And what they really tried to hide is the ultimate truth, that the virus, HIV, was synthetically made in a biochemical military lab in Fort Detrick. You see, they were running tests of a vaccination deep down in the middle of the jungle on the green monkey. They don't know which one went on the run because there was more than one. And he got on a plane like he was sane doing his thing, but he was supposed to be in a cage. Now turn to the next page. Here comes the ultimate lie to numb your brain. Here's the homosexual guy that they bring into the picture to really get you ready for church and so-called curse of God. And as you come out of that hypnotic nod and say, oh my God, it feels like I've been robbed, because all their stories are falling apart. Just ask Jimmy Carter or Bill Gates. Depopulation control is their real goal, especially of those African souls deep down in the middle of the jungle, because they didn't tell them what they was getting vaccinated for or with, but now there's fire in their blood. And don't you understand, man, that they just wanted their land? All this was done by the same hand. Mad scientists gone mad, giving orders to unleash synthetic death by insane polytricksters or capitalist CEOs who hold these truths to be self-evident, that the green monkey spoke no evil, saw no evil, and heard no evil, but the evil was being done to everyone who had fire in their blood after the vaccinations were done by this wicked nation. Speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil, but evil was done. Now the green monkey is on the run. And it was a movie, and I just wanted to illustrate those sounds of a monkey and stuff like that, to like give it more power, more credence of what these liars did. They, whatever disease there's in the natural realm, they make it up. They come out with HIV. They come out with swine's flu. They come out with monkey's tongue. Cow's tongue, bird flu. Man, they flew over the cuckoo nest. They think we're gonna keep taking this mess and the truth going to be revealed. The truth is revealed if we just come out of our slumber and our intoxication and stop walking around with our eyes wide shut, coming from under this mind control, selling our soul, becoming under robot control, trying to emulate them and become Negro pins. We got to stop that. We got to deal with the principles of our culture. Mark as God, He gave it to us. We have our own flag. Now we got to get our own mind. We got to deal with principles that deal with us in this quagmire, deceptive maze. We got to develop an infrastructure within this infrastructure that already exists. And here's my last poem for the day. It is I did it in 2013. It got on here, but I'm gonna put 2016 in here. It's and I'm gonna do it in my voice and not his voice. If Martin Luther King was here today in 2016, what do you think he would say or have to say about his dream? Before you ponder that question, let's take a good look at the scheme of things and how it seems. Blacks have an estimated population of 43.8 million, and of that, 2.9 are college students. Of that, 1.5 have acquired high degree, master's, PhD, MD, or a JD. We have 96,000 engineers, 41,000 physicians, and 40,000 lawyers, and over 1/3 of our population has an annual income of over $50,000. Almost makes you want to say, Ungawa, Black Power, especially when a black man at the head of the political tower. I can see an older Martin now, with hand over chin, as he ponders, looking back over the blue yonder of 45 years of ample time for progress, without the threat of that progress being in a state of regression. In the wisdom of experience that time has allowed me to succumb to, I have realized the Janus thoughts in the den of snakes. I would have heard the rattle of hypocrisy that mars this society long ago at this time. The venom has been so poisonous that some have forsaken their very nature in order to become like those who, through their egomania and their psychological bereavement, have become senseless, selfish, and anti-humanistic to the needs of others. In this corrupt season, so dogmatic and manipulative that they use us as gatekeepers so that we will take the blame for their wrongs, when in reality we are light bearers, giving guidance and direction only when you have not sold your soul for injustice, stunts, and materialistic wants. If the fox is the wolf in clothing, if the fox is in wolf clothing, I said if the fox is in wolf clothing with a smile on his face, does that make it any safer for the sheep or the lamb? I gotta read that one more time. I said if the fox is in wolf clothing with a smile on his face, does that make it any safer for the lamb or the sheep? I just want us to mentally digest this spiritual note for a moment. Then ask yourself, how can the high seat in the land get disrespected or respected, but not the man? I said, how can the high seat in the land get respected, but not the man in it? There is a social and moral problem that's so pragmatic and deep-rooted in the consciousness and soul of this nation that it unfortunately may seem incurable in 2016. And that's that social narcotics of white supremacy. But I must say that there are two bodies on this table of illness. We must reflect and diagnose our own eternal problem and separate from this incurable sickness that's prevalent in this society today. What is the psychosis of this self-inflicted dilemma of our beloved daughters belittling, degrading themselves with that B word, when in fact they are double B words, black and beautiful, not akin to feline in action and deeds? Sisters create life and produce majestic seeds. My young brother, you must listen and take heed to this divine warning that you are the ultimate target to be suspended in the stupor of self-deception and self-rejection has us expediently spiraling in the wrong direction of self-destruction. My ears have heard the whispers of indentured servitude as those who walk the halls of Congress, hands dipped from profits of mass incarceration, forged from fabrication of a war on terrorists and drugs. My eyes have seen the buildings of education no longer looking like the place of learning. Instead, looks like places of detention, where there is no retention of the lessons to be learned. Because the immorality of this society is a sickness that must be shunned by the great spirit of truth, love, and divine fortitude by every black man, woman, and child, because it is a sickness, but it's not our sickness. We must bear with it until the revolution of the soul occurs and the axiom of life prevails itself to those who need to know. We are here to be here, and you must understand that. Allow me to use one of my deep southern words. We ain't going nowhere. Amen. We ain't going nowhere. We are here to stay. And if we go back to Africa, it'll be by our choice to develop Akabu land, to develop it, help develop it, so that we can control it. And over here, we are world changers. We have to be peacemakers and not peace breakers among ourselves. We have to organize, unify, and develop an infrastructure worldwide. We got to have that unification worldwide. We got to heal here. They got to heal there, because we went through slavery. They went through colonization. A lot of us here have a slave mentality. A lot of them have a colonized mentality. But we got to rid ourselves of that. That's not our real reality. We got to take on the divine nature that's in us, in this body, in this temple, that's written on the script of our DNA. We got to understand the universe so that we can have an effect upon the universe that has been scripted for us by our ancestors. They have left evidence of who we are, who they were, connected to who we are through our lineal wealth. Our ancestors have gave us and passed that torch. And we just got to take that torch and pass it on. We got to pass it on to the youth. We got to protect our elders. The youth are the future. The elders are the one with the knowledge. And the warriors in between are the protectors. But right now in this political climate, we just must be watchers and observers. Because we know that they have reverted to their ways of that moral sickness, that social narcotics that we're all affected by, and that's white supremacy. But it's the end. It's coming to an end. It got to. This 2016. This is the time that we ain't talking about no New Year resolution. We talking about solutions during this period of our Black history endeavors, our Black story, our story, our story that is the glory of everything on this planet Earth. And I'll say this, I like to say salam alaikum to my brother Basil, one of the pure-hearted brothers that I know. That's man, a Muslim brother that, man, all I can say, he has a pure heart, very knowledgeable. I love him, man. Wherever, me and him made Hajj together in 2002, and it was a beautiful experience because we was in the college together also. I got a PhD in streetology. He got a PhD in scientific study and athletic ability. But he is a great brother. He's also he does mostly everything under the sun as an entrepreneur. I just want to give a shout out to him, and I see my sister Lisa is still here, brother Salim, salam alaikum, and everybody else that's on there. That's Casey Marley. Yes, everybody. I just want to say that today is the second day of Kwanzaa, self-termination, koo-gee-cha-goo-LEE-yah, to define ourselves, rename ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. And yesterday was Umoja, is unity, to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, and nation, and race. And that's what we got to do. And dealing with race and dealing with religion, Islam, Christianity, Hebrew, Jew, and all that, we all got to come together because we're like this, according to this. We like this, and we suffer from being like that because it's divide and conquer methodology that's been used against us since we came in contact with that alien counterculture, ethnic group. I would say Neanderthal or European, and I'm not saying that as a racist. I'm saying it as a race man, as a man that I experienced it. They taught me what they done to me in their schools, institutionalized racism, and had me set in school to get a degree about that. You get a degree about the other things in the work field that you want to get into, but when we go to their schools, the institution of learning, of indoctrination, go there not to get a job, go there to build jobs, go there to be an entrepreneur. And if you do get a job, you want a job for $200,000 on up, so you can have some financial freedom, to help. So we got to uplift each other as a nation of people, melanated people. And whatever religion we practice, like Malcolm said, we can leave our religion in the closet or in the house, but we develop our society based on us being a people of melanin, because they're not killing us because we are a Christian, Muslim, or Jew. They're killing us because we are melanated. They know who we are more so than a lot of us know who we are, because we don't study ourselves. We study what they give us. But with that, I'll say salam alaikum, salam, peace, peace. I'll say that tell somebody you love them today, hug somebody, motivate somebody, stimulate somebody, agitate somebody, to uplift them. Because we got to unify, organize, and develop an infrastructure holistically, spiritually, economically, and educationally. And we got to do this yesterday. We are behind the 8 ball in this political climate that we're in. It may be politics as usual, because politics is like a magician, abracadabra, hocus pocus, and all that. But it's more than that this time, because the game they're playing, they got a trump card. And at the table, we see all these people with an ideology of what? That sickness, that drug, that social narcotics of white supremacy. But we ain't going to worry about that. We're going to step down, step back, and be observant, and be a watcher, and be developing all the time, developing ourselves, most of all, our families, then our communities. But we got to stay together, unify, and be in sync with that unification on all levels. Again, second day of Kwanzaa. First day, Umoja, unity. This day, self-determination. Say peace. That's together. This is peace, not this, not that. This is peace. This is power from the love. Know thyself, know our people, and develop, grow, and come together in love. We got to stop killing each other, committing crimes against each other. We got to purify ourselves to such a level and extent that we don't have the slave catchers in our community, or so-called police, but they're slave catchers for the 13th Amendment, where our schools, they're dumbing down our children in school by design. The school is the pipeline to prison by design. The prisons are for profit by design. And where all this come from? From the fraudulent laws, those who set in the seat of power. So be powerful, people, and be unified. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow if it be the will of the Creator. Because I love to be part of our growth and development. To once again be those that are in control. Bringing that harmony and peace back into this realm, this dimension. By the matriarchy decree from where all life comes from. Don't forget, got to hold our sisters in high esteem so they can continue to help us manifest our dreams into reality. Black power, peace, and love for our people, universally, globally. See you when I see you, so I can talk to you again, to paint the picture upon the canvas of your mind from my originality, from my mind, the chambers of the pyramid in my mind. Love y'all. Don't forget to hug somebody, kiss somebody, and tell them you love them. Motivate them, stimulate them, agitate them. It's about growth and development. Peace.